Welcome to Community Conversations. I am Jennifer Ricker, Senior Program Director with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater New Haven. And I'm here with, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Mackenzie. I am a youth development professional at the Wallingford Boys and Girls Club, which is a part of Greater New Haven.
Oh, fabulous. And I have the pleasure of working with you for a bit of time now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain a little bit more about what is a youth development professional and what does it mean to you?
A youth development professional is somebody who mainly focuses on after-school programs with kids and running their activities and kind of giving them that extracurricular outside of school, since they're obviously not playing sports. Some of them do, but they come in and they are expected to follow rules.
As a youth development professional, what exactly is it that you do and why?
So basically what I do, I go into work 2 p.m. every day, and I go in and I prep. So prepping is mainly because I need to have structure. We all need to have structure. So I go in, I prep activities, whether that is for K through 2, 3rd through 5th, or middle school kids. It usually entails a little bit of research, but we try to make different activities every week because we do kind of get repetitive with games and stuff like that. So a lot of it is trying to find new things and stuff like that. So when we go in, we prep, and the kids get there around 3:45. They come in, they check in, they hang their stuff up, and they go to their designated area. For the younger kids, they go into the gymnasium, and the older kids, upper elementary, they go into the kitchen. So they first start with homework, and the younger kids kind of run around, get their energy out in the beginning. This is actually a new implementation. They are expected to follow rules that we have put in place, basically like school, just fun. They do all have homework time, which we think is really important, because even though like they're not going straight home to do their homework at home, we kind of implement that time. Not all of them do their homework. Yeah, and I know that they have homework, but they just don't want to do it. But
Yes, I can imagine.
yeah, I'm like, are you sure? But you know, they all get homework. Even the younger kids, we started implementing homework time for them. And if they don't have homework from school, and this applies to all of them, we have either educational activities, or for like the younger kids, K through 2, we have packets made for them. So basically, if they don't have homework from school, they have like their own workbook with their name on it and everything, and they can basically just do whatever page they want in there. So
it sounds like there's a lot of structure, which I think is really important, because I think this is where, if we look at when that school bell rings and that day ends, we also know it's not possible for all families to be waiting at the door for them. Working families, and you know, we obviously are serving families from all different backgrounds and different needs. So we have that whole from 3 until 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's just important to have that structure and support so that we can support families and we can ensure that, you know, students are safe, they're academically learning, they're having fun. And that's the one thing that I really love to hear you say.
No, yeah.
You actually have been a part of the Boys and Girls Club yourself as well, right? So when exactly? Because I don't know. When did you start at the Boys and Girls Club?
My parents had me go for a summer when I was 13, I think 2018. So I went for that summer, and then the next school year was my 8th grade year. Obviously, I was not going for after school. I was going straight home. I had a bunch of extracurriculars that I was doing. After 8th grade, I needed the volunteer hours in the community service for high school. And I just kind of wanted to get it done and over with. So I went back because I was like, maybe I can volunteer here, because I remembered that there were like staff and volunteers. I'm like, maybe I can just do that. So I went in. I applied to be a JC, which is a junior counselor. Then there was like this whole initiation, and like we did an icebreaker. I don't remember it that much because it was kind of a while ago, but I remember like the important parts. But we did like a whole icebreaker. We got to know each other and stuff, and I ended up being there for the first 4 weeks of the summer.
Okay. So what I would love to know, because I think one of the things that you hit on is you started this when you were in middle school, right? And one of the things that I'm wondering is what made you say, you know what, I do want to be here. But then for 8th grade, you said there was a lot of extracurriculars.
Yeah, so I wasn't there for the school year.
Right.
I was there the summer before.
Got you. So what were you doing during the school year? Because I think that's one of the things we have to look at is that there are other opportunities out there, and how do you really make sure that you're finding those opportunities for your middle schoolers and high schoolers? Because as a mother of 2 teenagers, I know it's not always easy.
Yeah. I had a history of playing softball and dance. So I danced from 6 till 14, I think. It was kind of going into my freshman year, and then they put me in the senior class, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I ended up playing softball for like a year less than dance, so I stopped softball, and then I danced for 1 more year and then stopped.
Now, was softball through your high school, or was it through?
No, softball was the Wallingford team. So there's a slow
Gotcha.
pitch and fast pitch team. So I
Gotcha.
was on the fast pitch team.
So it was through Wallingford Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Oh, that's fabulous. And then for dance, was it with a private company? Or was
I don't know if it's private.
Right.
Judith Parks.
Oh, okay. So, it's nice to remember that, we are there, but there are other opportunities as well to explore, because I think that's one of the things as a community, how we're coming together. And I know at the Boys and Girls Club, we even go as far as to invite these partners in to do things like robotics with the Connecticut Science Center. So I think it's really important to recognize that there has to be more opportunities for children to expand, and it's not just about babysitting.
Yeah.
When you were at the Boys and Girls Club as a volunteer in high school, what did you think about, and how did you connect to other high schoolers and feel part of that community in general?
When I was a volunteer, I'm like the shy type. So when I went in, like on my first day, I went in, I was just like, I don't even know where to go. So I kind of had to get guided for the first little while. But a lot of the other volunteers were people that I knew. So that was like a huge advantage, because I felt a little more comfortable in the building, just knowing that I knew people.
Right.
The summer that I volunteered, I think, was the most kids in one building that I've ever seen in my life. Like, even comparing to now, like the summer camps now, not even near as many kids as there was when I volunteered. I think just a lot of them grew up and kind of just grew out of it and went on to other things, but that's okay. But they were very engaging with me, even like the coworkers, the kids, everybody. Like I kind of just warmed up to it, and it started becoming natural. Volunteering was basically just helping whatever the staff needed, doing bathrooms, just like small things, and also leading groups for like field trips and stuff.
Right.
But that there wasn't when I started getting into the community more. I just kind of in my mindset when I started volunteering was just, I need to get these hours.
Right.
But kind of looking back on that, I'm glad that I did it, because it kind of, if I'd never volunteered, I wouldn't be working here now, because I wouldn't have no idea that it's a thing.
Coming into work every day, because you have gone from volunteering to now being on staff, what makes you want to come to work every day?
The biggest thing for me, the relationships with the kids. I know everybody's name. They know my name. I just come in, the smiles, the laughs, everything. Yeah. We all have humor with the kids. We all make jokes. I think humor is a big part of it, because I don't like being super serious in conversations unless I need to. Obviously, if there's like an incident and I need to be serious, I'm serious. Yeah. But it's just the relationships I have with them. A lot of them rely on me. A lot of them are close to me and like come to me for advice. As of recently, I'm mentoring 2 middle schoolers. So
it's fabulous. And the mentoring program, the relationship we have through the grant with OJJDP to ensure there's mentoring, I think it's so great to look at. How does that allow you to connect with youth in a much deeper way to help them go through some of their challenges? So without, divulging any personal information, what are some things that you've gotten out of mentoring? Because I think that when you mentor a child, it fills you personally as much as it fills the other person. I
can definitely talk about, I'm not going to get like too personal. I'm just going to kind of give you the idea. High school is full of drama. Our old program director, I'm not sure if you know her, Brooke. So when she was a program director, that's kind of when I came on board as a YDP. I started in February of 2022, so it's been almost 2 years now. She was only there for the first few months that I was there, but just in those few months, she got me into the teen program. She talked me through the drama because there was a lot of it and I needed a vent and I just needed to get it out. And she was one of the people that I went to. So I kind of call her a mentor because she's just there to listen type of thing, which is kind of what I want to do. I just want to be there to listen and give advice because not just off of like personal experience, like I know how some things feel, especially like fights with mom or whatever, and you just it just brings you down and you need to talk about it, but just not to her. Just that kind of connection and giving advice, taking advice type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I love most about the work we do is, you're right, it's the relationships, and it's knowing that in that moment they have somebody that they can connect to and speak to, and in that moment that it's safe and it's okay and it's acceptable. And I think, or I wonder maybe, because you're just coming out of high school, how often do you find that out of school and where else can you find it? Because I know we obviously do it. I wonder, is that what brings people to these out of school programs?
I think a lot of it is for like role modeling. So they parents sign their kids up for this because they want to believe that they are going to not only have fun, but they're going to get better at things they're not so good at, and just have a better experience. A lot of parents just send them because they work and they don't want them home alone.
Right.
Overall, even though that may be the case, they are still getting better. You know, some of them have, you know, like they get angry easily. I get angry easily. They learn to contain it because we talk them through it. We do things. We give incentives, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and I think what you're really alluding to is the positive behavior and incentive systems, which I think are great. And I think it's those teaching them that they have a choice and validating, okay, it's okay to get angry. How we respond to that anger, that's really the key here is, you know, what is the screaming going to get you? But instead taking that deep breath and learning those meditative practices, which I know, which I know that's a lot of what we do is de-escalating, which is great. So what would you say is, for those that aren't showing up, for the other high schoolers that aren't coming to our teen program or they're not signing up to volunteer, as a high schooler going back and saying to, you know, your high school self, what would you say to that person of why they need to be in a program like the Boys and Girls Clubs or just any sort of program at all?
Because it's honestly like a serotonin booster. Like, it just honestly, a lot of people, not even in high school, if they don't want to come, obviously they have a different career path or they're not very good at, you know, taking care of kids. They just don't have that knowledge.
Right.
So I would kind of say to myself, like, you know, it's fun. It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be ups and downs, but you're gonna like it. And I would just be straightforward with myself. I'd just be like, you're gonna like it, because it may or may not be your strong suit, but you will end up liking it.
Right.
Type of thing. And I do.
That's fabulous. As a mother of a teenager who is, you know, a junior going through the teen program as well, one of the things that I also saw as a struggle with her, but also with her friends, is there's not enough places to go on a Friday night. There's not enough places where they can just go and meet up. And I wonder, was that the case for you as well in high school? What was your typical Friday night?
Going home, usually FaceTiming friends, you know, just kind of doing my own thing, really. My mother's always on me about cleaning because she's a cleanaholic. So I'm constantly, like, from Friday to Sundays, usually just cleaning if I don't have plans. Right. So if I'm not going out with friends or, you know, going to family, like, dinner or just anything along the lines of that, I was just kind of by myself all the time or with friends.
Going out with friends, where would you go? What's a typical hangout?
Doolittle Park. In that like time or era, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Doolittle Park is where we were always going. We would go into the park. You know, sometimes we go at night where we're not supposed to, but, you know.
And that's, I think,
teenage things.
Yes, and I think that's a key thing for me. I mean, this was obviously much longer ago. We used to go ice skating on a Friday night, or we would go and hang out at the mall, but it's not the same. And I think that's the conversations and the questions we need to be asking is, how do we create opportunities to open our doors more so that we do have some place for them to go that is safe, that they're learning how to connect with other teens, but also that we have people available to mentor and guide. And I would love to see and wonder, what do you envision as being important for where we go to really serve teenagers and middle schoolers specifically?
Our middle school program right now is in development. It is slowly getting better. You know, it's a slow process, but trust the process. We are trying to implement, you know, point systems where they can earn things, and basically our goal is to have the upper elementary kind of see that and see like the experience and like the program that we're doing for them, so they can look forward to that when they get to middle school. So that's kind of the idea of what we're trying to do. An example, we do a point system just based off of certain little things. So, you know, keeping their phones away, staying after a certain time, etc.
Right.
And they earn points for that, and they can either save their points or they can spend them. And it also applies to Money Matters, kind of saving, you know, do I want a small point prize or do I want to wait?
Right.
Type
Financial
of thing.
literacy is so important.
But they don't realize that.
Right.
It's kind of in the background, but they don't realize, like, hey, I'm actually going to use this technique in the future type of thing.
Right. I think when you can get children to learn without realizing they're learning, that's when you're doing something really special.
And we have programs for boys and girls separately. So we do Smart Girls and we do Passport to Manhood, which we only have 3 boys now that have been coming in. So it's kind of a very small program. We haven't really been able to implement it fully yet. But it is getting worked on. And we do Smart Girls, which is basically about, you know, self-esteem, like self-respect, just along the, like, you learn about menstrual periods and stuff like that.
So
things.
I think that one thing you mentioned as well is cell phones, of not really having them in the club. And that's one of the things that I think is so important to talk about as well, is the importance of understanding what youth are doing on technology, because that's where the more that we think about, okay, who are they talking to? What are they playing? What are they doing? I think social media is something that we also need to really focus on in our clubs.
And I can honestly speak for myself, because I, too, was born in a generation where phones were a thing when I was born. I didn't get my first phone till 5th grade, but, you know, every family is different, because my little cousin's 5 and she has a phone. So, you know, every family is different.
Right.
But I think it's just kind of being in the moment type of thing, because I know, like, the second I leave work, I'm always on my phone, because that's what I'm used to.
Right.
For them, they were born obviously way later and way more advanced technology. And I think it's just like, it was a little bit of a downfall for like just society in general, because now we pay attention to this, and now like AI is coming out, and just it's getting so advanced to the point where it's just almost like intimidating that we have no idea like what technology is going to look like in another 10 years type of thing.
But I love that our programs really focus on relationships, and I think putting the technology away, putting the cell phones down, and just having that moment where we can say, hey, tell me what was the favorite thing you did today. It's my favorite question I'm asking them when they arrive. And because you never know what they're going to say, but it's always honest, and it always starts up. Sometimes it's not something good. Maybe it was not a good day for them, and that's okay too.
That's okay, yeah.
But I think giving them that opportunity to learn how to communicate how they're feeling, that's where I think these out-of-school programs are so important, because it's that, okay, if their parents are working, which the families we're serving, that's the thing. The parents are just at work. They have to work until 5 or 6. I have to work until 5 or 6. I get it. I need these programs as a parent. And to know that my children, because they grew up in out-of-school programs as well, to know that they're going to someplace safe, where they are learning how to connect with others. They are getting academic support, but they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where we need to start talking as a community to say, we need more investment in the programs.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I love the work we do. I love the people we work with. Absolutely amazing. I don't think we have enough of us. And
we really don't.
That's the thing.
Really
it's
don't.
so hard to find people that are able to work part-time. And it's just, we need more investments for more opportunities. What are your thoughts?
In my experience, talking to friends
Mm-hmm.
or, other family members that may be younger, cousins and stuff like that, I think a lot of them grew up in environments where they don't think of themselves taking care of kids and running activities with kids. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just some people, it's just not for them.
Right.
I have babysat in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had a little bit of, background knowledge on, childcare. And it wasn't a bad thing. I kind of liked it. And, going into volunteering, I kind of thought back to that. Like, when I have babysat, I've only babysat a couple times. I was like, maybe I'll be good at this. So I tried it out, and I'm still here. But I think it's just a matter of trying it.
Right.
And then if you don't like it, it's okay. My best friend actually worked with us for a few months, and she wanted to give it a try because she thought she would like it. She basically raised her little brother from a baby till he's 7
Right.
now. But she gave it a try, and it ended up not being for her.
Yes.
So, I think it's just a matter of either it's not for them or, you try it, you don't like it, at least you tried type of thing.
Yeah. I would love to see somehow getting more funding. So for the people that do want to do this, we can offer more opportunities, higher pay, more training, I think would be fabulous. So I'd love to see the investment in youth development professionals really pick up, because I think that could make a difference and just get our doors open more. So you were part of Keystone, correct? And I'm new to the Boys and Girls Club because, I've only been with the Boys and Girls Club for about a year and a half. Can you really explain what Keystone is and how that helped you?
Yeah. Usually in high schools, they do Key Club. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I was a part of Key Club.
Exact same thing as Key Club.
Okay.
Literally exactly the same. They focus on academic support for older kids, high school. Keystone is for ages 13 to 18, I believe. They focus on that. They focus on community service and leadership. So leadership basically meaning like getting the voice out, academic support, kind of, knowledge for us, and obviously community service, Example, we went to Grand Street Park and we cleaned up trash.
Nice.
And came back and threw it out, took a little photo, posed and everything. But, we like to document that kind of stuff because it really applies to the community. But
Were you told that you have to go pick up trash, or did you
no,
decide
we
as a
all
group?
we all agreed that would be
Right.
a good thing to do for community service.
So you were empowered to actually choose and
Yes.
say, hey, this is how we want to make a difference in our community.
Yeah, and similar to a lot of clubs we do, president, vice president, secretary. We had a treasurer, which is basically the person who focused on like all of our fundraising or helped with it at least. And an event planner, which is basically planning our fundraising. It all
Yeah.
fits together.
Right.
Then we were told by Brooke, the old program director, who originally was the female advisor for Keystone, that we had reached like a threshold. So we were like a silver Keystone Club. So it was like a
nice.
rank kind of thing.
Right.
And so she told us that we were a silver club, and that basically gave us the eligibility to go to the national conference,
Nice.
which was in Anaheim, California. And I got to go.
So you
It
got
was
some
so fun.
traveling.
I got to go to California. That was the first time in California, and it was actually really nice. The weather was so nice. It wasn't humid. It was like hot, but it didn't
Right.
feel hot. It was just very comfortable.
So what you said there was that that was your first time traveling to California, and I think that's one of the endless possibilities of the out-of-school programs is you don't know where it can lead you. But if we look at these opportunities, there's so many out there.
Yeah.
So you didn't join Boys and Girls Club early on. You actually joined middle school and really got
Late
involved in
middle school.
high school, and now are doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a lot different than our average club kid, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, obviously I wasn't expecting to go to California 3 years down the road from when I was a volunteer. And I actually got to go to Washington, D.C. as well.
Nice.
Because there was one of the kids in Keystone wasn't eligible for the national conference because the national conference you had to be 14 plus.
Gotcha.
And he was 13.
Oh.
But he was still in the club, but
Right.
he got another opportunity to a trip that he could go on.
Great.
Just kind of like, you know, an alternative.
Right.
And originally we needed a female to go, and one of my coworkers was asked, but she couldn't make it. And so literally like 2 weeks before the trip, Brooke calls me and she's like, "Do you want to go to Washington, D.C.?" I'm like, I'm like, I'll call my dad. And then we had a whole conversation. I ended up going, and the California trip was actually less than 2 weeks after that trip.
Oh, that's funny.
So it was early mid-July.
Right.
We went for 3 days. We took a train.
Nice.
I met Joe Biden's daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Toured the White House. Met one of the Connecticut senators. So just tons of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of speaking about experiences and stuff, but it was just a comfortable conversation since
Right.
it's just natural to talk about.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it goes back to, can you imagine if you had not done the out-of-school program? What would you have done after school?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, my first job was a hostess, so I really don't know.
Right.
I honestly don't know. Because I can't really think back because it didn't happen, so.
Right. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope that as you continue to grow in this, you keep looking at, okay, how can I impact youth? How can I help them? And what does that mean to you?
It's honestly from personal experience. Like, if I was younger in their age, I would want that guidance. I would want that advice, you know, and I kind of think about that. I'm like, I wanted this as a kid, and now I want to give it.
Yes.
Type of thing. I want to be able to give the advice, give the guidance, and stuff like that.
And I think you hit on it earlier that they're not always wanting to talk about everything with their parents. And I have children that come to, or they're not children, they're middle schoolers that will come to me and say, yeah, I don't want to talk to my parent about this, but I have a question. And I think it's, having that checks and balances to say, okay, yes, come to me. Now, there's times that I have to go and share this with your parent, but I'll do it with you. And helping them navigate some of those really tough challenges that as a middle schooler and teenager, you just don't always know what the answer is.
And definitely as like a mentor, there's some confidentiality with it. You know, it's obviously like if they're talking about at home, we're obviously not going to bring that to parents' attention unless it's needed.
Because we are mandated reporters.
We do it, yeah, exactly. But it's as needed. But there is confidentiality, which is a good thing for them. At least they can feel comfortable in the space that they're in, talking to somebody that's not their friends, not their parents, but their mentor, like I said before. So
you are doing fabulous work, and it's so great that you were with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in a community conversation. Fabulous.
Okay.